April Sullivan Jones hailed from the picturesque Welsh market town of Machynlleth, located in Powys. She had cerebral palsy, a condition that made her rarely seen without her bicycle. Her bike was a vital means of transportation, allowing her to move more comfortably and with less fatigue compared to walking. Coral Jones, a dedicated mother of three, devoted herself to caring for her special needs daughter. Paul Jones, April Jones's father, suffered from encephalitis, a condition characterized by inflammation of the brain. This condition resulted in significant memory impairment, causing him to forget substantial portions of his life. Unfortunately, this also means he cannot recall the tragic murder of his daughter in 2012. On the evening of October 1, 2012, April Jones participated in swimming lessons at a local leisure center while her mother and father attended a parent-teacher conference at her school. Later that evening, April extended an invitation to a school friend to come over to her house and watch the movie Tangled. Subsequently, April begged her parents to allow her and her friend to play outside, despite the late hour. Eventually, April's parents give in, with her mother expressing her desire for April not to stay out too long. The last time April Jones was seen by her parents, she was riding her small pink bicycle at around 7 p.m. Approximately 20 minutes after permitting April to depart from their residence, Coral, her mother, embarked on a quest to locate her. At 7:29 p.m., having failed to locate her daughter, Coral contacted emergency services to report April as missing and requested assistance from a police officer. The initial responding officer spoke to a young witness who recounted observing April entering a gray van. The police swiftly escalated their investigation to a critical incident status and initiated an extensive search operation throughout Machynlleth. Numerous civilians, some alerted through social media, actively participated in the search effort, and the numbers grew to hundreds as the early morning hours of October 2nd approached. In the days that followed April's disappearance, an extensive search operation was launched in the Machynlleth vicinity, involving law enforcement and specialized search and rescue teams equipped with specialized gear. Additionally, Prime Minister David Cameron issued a public appeal for assistance in locating April.
It's been 36 hours since April was taken from us. There must be someone out there who knows where she is and can help the police find her. We are desperate for any news. April is only 5 years old. Please, please, help find her.
In relation to this specific investigation, as I said earlier, we're pursuing a number of lines of inquiry, and Mark Bridger is one of them. And in relation to the images that I circulated to you earlier today, which was the Land Rover Discovery and Mark Bridger's photograph, can I again ask, did you see this vehicle between Monday evening and Tuesday afternoon? And do you know Mark Bridger, and did you see him during that period, Monday evening and Tuesday afternoon? And if you have any information, please contact us on the Child Rescue Alert Line 0300 2000 333. Do not assume somebody else has already contacted us with information. Even if you feel yours is trivial, it may be the vital piece that we are missing.
Mark Bridger, a 46-year-old local resident, was apprehended on the afternoon of October 2, 2012, less than a day after April disappeared. He came under suspicion because he matched the description given by an eyewitness who had seen April talking to a man near a left-hand drive Land Rover Discovery, the vehicle she was later seen entering. Mark Leonard Bridger was born on November 6, 1965, at the War Memorial Hospital in Carshalton, Surrey. He was the second child among three, born to Graham Bridger, a policeman, and his wife Pamela. Bridger had a diverse employment history, working in various roles such as an abattoir worker, hotel porter, fireman, lifeguard, mechanic, and welder. He had 6 children with 4 different women and had been married once in 1990, although the marriage ended in divorce several years later. On October 5, 2012, the police officially classified the case as a murder investigation. Despite not having found a body, this marked the first indication that the authorities believed April Jones was no longer alive. On October 6th, Bridger was formally charged with child abduction, murder, and attempting to obstruct the course of justice.
My conclusion is that there is sufficient evidence to charge Mark Bridger with the murder of April Jones, and that it is in the public interest to do so. I have also concluded that there is sufficient evidence to charge the defendant with attempting to pervert the course of justice and child abduction. Accordingly, I have authorised Dyfed-Powys Police to charge him with these offences, and he will appear before Aberystwyth Magistrates Court on Monday morning. I realise that this is an incredibly difficult time for April's family, friends, and the community. My thoughts are with them, and indeed with all those affected by this week's events. The huge public and media interest in this case is understandable. I would just like to stress that whilst Mark Bridger stands accused of serious criminal charges, he retains the right to a fair trial. I would therefore ask that nothing is placed in the public domain that may undermine the criminal justice process. Thank you.
Today our thoughts are very much with April's family, friends and those who knew her, and the community within Machynlleth. The last few days has seen us deal with one of the most complex and fast-moving inquiries in the history of this force, and one our communities have never had to face before. It's been marked by the coming together of people across the country with one aim in mind: to return April to her family. The community of Machynlleth and the surrounding areas turned out in force, using social networks to get the message out to appeal for April's safe return. To see so many people give up their free time was truly humbling to everyone involved. I would like to pay tribute to the tremendous effort that's gone into trying to find April Jones this week. I have spent time with the family, and they are overwhelmed by the number of people who wanted to help in any way they possibly could. The search teams have faced enormous challenge with the hostile terrain, the adverse weather, the logistics of searching such a beautiful and remote environment. Everyone was working towards the same goal: to find April safe and well and reunite her with her family. I would like to express my gratitude to the volunteers from the community and those who have worked and provided support behind the scenes, the agencies that have taken part, expert advisors, all of my staff and staff from forces up and down the UK. There are far too many to mention here today. But finally, my thanks to you, the media, for the way that you have reported this inquiry. People have worked round the clock in their search for April to investigate the crime and to keep her disappearance in the public eye. Now that Mark Bridger has been charged with this horrific crime, it is time to let the judicial process take its course and time to let the family come to terms with what has happened over the last week. In the meantime, our efforts will be as meticulous as they have been, right from the outset of this inquiry, until we have exhausted all our available options.
I can now give you a brief update on the search operation which continues in Machynlleth. This morning we have deployed 10 specialist police teams who are conducting a systematic and methodical search in and around the town. We continue to have the support of a whole range of search and rescue teams who are using specialist equipment as we continue our efforts. We will be keeping April's family fully updated on progress of this investigation. And finally, despite today's announcement, we are maintaining the momentum of the search, and we remain totally focused and committed to finding April. Thank you.
During the trial in April 2013, a scientific expert told the court that fragments of human bone consistent with a younger individual had been found in the fireplace of Bridger's cottage. Blood found in several parts of the cottage was matched to April's DNA and was enough to convince the police that April Jones had suffered injuries from which she could not have survived and to persuade the Crown Prosecution Service to charge Bridger with murder. At the trial, Bridger asserted that he accidentally ran over April with his car and couldn't recall how he disposed of her body due to intoxication and panic. However, the jury didn't find this explanation credible. On May 30, 2013, Bridger was found guilty of abduction, murder, and perverting the course of justice. He was subsequently sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order. In July 2013, a few weeks into his sentence, Bridger was assaulted by another inmate at Wakefield Prison. No doubt he will be constantly watching his back for the remainder of his life and never feel safe again. In November 2013, prompted by the efforts of Jones' parents and supported by various national newspapers, Google and Bing adjusted their search systems to block results related to searches for child abuse images. The following year, it was revealed that the cottage in Sains, believed to be the location where April was killed, had been acquired by the Welsh government for £149,000. The cottage had remained vacant since Bridger's arrest nearly 2 years earlier. It was decided that the cottage would be demolished in November 2014. April's family was present to witness the demolition of the house.